All right, so we are on episode 42 here with Illicit Provisions. Good?
Good.
Yeah. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great. Great, man.
Yeah, I came up, take a little visit down South Kakalaki, came down the I-20.
Yeah, it's not too far. And if anybody familiar with North Carolina and South Carolina on the border, you know when you get into South Carolina because they want you to know that you're here by changing the color of the road.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You go from that nice black
to
pavement to like this gray asphalt, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, we've been like working on our roads for like, it seems like 20 years. Yeah. Funny enough, they've been reworking parts of the road for just like forever. Like it was supposed to be a 5-year project. So yeah, here we are later on, and it's just still just absolute garbage. How many potholes did you hit?
No potholes, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so very surprising. Very surprising.
Yeah, that's very surprising. It's kind of like driving through fucking Afghanistan normally.
Yeah, well, it took the interstate the entire way, so I really didn't do too bad there. But yeah, I mean, if I was in the construction business and doing road construction, I would work the federal government as much as I could for contracts, because they'll just print money. And you can just take it. So keep working on those roads forever.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, because it's mostly all like state government programs and the highway patrol and stuff like that. But they all outsource it. So.
Imagine if you stop making the roads, they're going to stop paying you. So
yeah, that's fair.
Keep it up.
So anyways, I'm here today with him, and we're going to go over kind of some of the stuff, and some of you guys are familiarized with him. So like his big thing obviously is the magazines.
Yeah,
right?
Magazines. Dip P mags.
Yep, Dip P mags. Yeah. Emphasis on the P though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're pushing P.
Pushing P, right? Yeah.
But yeah. A lot of people know that. I really started my brand doing straight P mags, and now I've moved on to some E mags too. But yeah, really just focusing on the sort of rare, hard to find mags was sort of what IlPro is.
Yeah. But yeah, so you came down and visited and stuff like that, and for those, like we were just saying, is doing like a different PMag, different dipped PMags and stuff like that, and very unique patterns and stuff like that, but specifically camo patterns. But on top of that, the big thing about these mags is the what type of mags they are, which I think is maybe a little bit of a misconception. But before we get into all of that and the illicit provision side, so tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, basically, I work in film. I went to film school and got out of film school and started working for a local agency in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we were doing some pretty cool things. We were shooting a rad fishing show, kayak fishing show with my buddy Drew called Hooked on Wild Waters. And we were traveling to places all over the country and just getting on parts of rivers that fish haven't seen lures, places where only kayaks can get. And that's what made the show so special. So it was really rad for, 4 seasons to get paid.
4 seasons.
4 seasons. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And, to travel all over the country and, just get on a kayak and film and make a show and seeing all these beautiful rivers and places that I would never, ever get to see without that opportunity was really cool. And then I met like some cool people along the way who, become friends of mine. Like a guy that was on the show. One of the guests on the show is Johnny Aljets. Johnny listens to the podcast.
Yeah, I know Johnny. So
Johnny's a cool dude. And apparently he blames me for getting him into all the Gucci gun stuff. And I can't help it. You'd rather have Gucci gun stuff than not, Johnny. Yeah. So.
That's funny, dude. Yeah. Johnny's a good dude. I played Warzone with him a couple times, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Funny enough, every time we play, I have like the worst fucking luck. Like I'm always like burnt out or something. So yeah, I apologize. But that's super cool. So 4 seasons. So how many years? I mean, obviously sometimes people have different season limits and sizes and like length. So like what's 4 seasons, like 4 years, or is it like 2 years? Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years. 4 years. Yeah, because fishing is all based around seasonal and spawning and when they're spawning.
Right.
And, obviously we would do, we mostly do freshwater, and then we get on a couple, maybe at least 1 to 2 saltwater episodes a year. We're, fishing for redfish, stuff like that. Mostly, smallmouth bass, 'cause those things are badass.
Yeah.
They fight like no other.
Yeah. I've heard that before. They're actually little bastards.
Yeah. I mean, you got to imagine like this fish, a smallmouth bass is basically living on a treadmill its whole life. The rivers that they live on are faster moving. So they're very strong swimmers. So they have a lot better fight. That's what makes them a fun fish to catch. And they're a very beautiful fish, especially you get up in the West Virginia area. I mean, you get some in Pennsylvania, you get some very beautiful smallmouth bass. And I think the lowest part of the country we can catch smallmouth bass is right here in Columbia, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not a fisherman. I fucking hate fishing.
Really?
I actually.
So you gain no like any kind of like allure to going fishing after doing that?
Absolutely not. When I was asked to shoot, when I had a meeting with Drew to shoot the show, I said, "Look, dude, I don't know anything about fishing.
Yeah,
but I can make it look good."
There you go.
And then we made one of the best looking fishing shows out there. We brought a lot of cool technology. Nobody was really using a gimbal on a fishing show. A lot of the fishing shows you would see are on bass boats, and they're just holding cameras, and the cameras are shaking,
jarring and stuff like that. Yeah.
So we used the at the time the best gimbal on the market was the Movi M5, and then we moved into the Movi Pro, and then also a lot of people were using the drones, and they were using like the Phantom drones. So we moved into the Inspire Raw came out right when we started filming the show. So we were using the 2-person setup with that. So somebody can fly the drone, and another person controls the camera and the gimbal. And that really makes really cool dynamic shots where you can track a subject. And drones now have gotten even better where you can solo fly and like track by just tapping.
Something. Yeah.
But, like that drone that we were using was used on a lot of shows. It was used to pick up shots on all the aerial shots on Narcos and The Walking Dead. That's the quality of that camera shooting in RAW.
Yeah.
But it was really rad. And looking back on it, now that I don't do it anymore, I didn't realize how great of an opportunity I had and how cool of a job I had. I took it for granted. And that's one of the things you'll learn in life is, don't take shit for granted.
Like specific moments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, like obviously that's already, you guys are bringing a new spin or twist to especially recording and videoing on with a fishing show specifically. But like, what kind of like price of equipment are you guys dealing with when you are? Cause like, first of all, like kayaks immediately you they're kind of nervous, I would imagine, because you're in a slightly, immobile object that has tippable ability. And so you're working with really expensive equipment. So like, what kind of budget are you guys working with when you guys are doing this? Like, how does that work? Like insurance policy, like what?
There's no insurance policy. You just don't fuck up. You don't fuck up.
Yeah, Godspeed.
Drew is actually the designer of the modern day fishing kayak. Every fishing kayak you see nowadays is based off his design. He drew the kayak up on a napkin and was pitching it to companies. And a lot of companies were like, nah.
Yeah.
And then he went to Jackson Kayak. And Jackson at the time, Eric Jackson is a Olympic whitewater kayaker.
Yeah.
So his company was based on whitewater kayaks that are just made for whitewater, not for fishing.
Right.
But he loved fishing, so he liked the idea. So he brought on Drew, and they designed Drew's signature kayak. And then how industries are. As soon as somebody creates something very cool,
catches fire,
everybody's going to copy it.
Yeah.
So all the kayaks you see are based off his original design that he drew on a piece of paper. But a modern day fishing kayak is a sit on top kayak, so it is almost like a paddle board. The seat is up. It's not like a cheap kayak where you're like down in the hole, and then there like a bunch of water can get in it. What makes these kayaks so stable is they're almost built like a paddle board, so you can stand up.
Yeah, a lot of stability.
Because you want to be able to stand up to sight fish. You got to be able to see fish. And using polarized glasses will definitely let you see fish, but standing up. And what's great about a kayak is you're stealthy.
You're quiet, definitely.
You're quiet. You got to be stealthy. And, because fish are smart. Animals, big game and fish, big fish, they're smart. they didn't get
that big for a reason. Yeah.
They didn't get big, just for out of luck. You know, it's because they're very smart. In the natural world, if you're not smart, you're dead.
Yeah. So like when you guys are doing this, like how long are you recording like for an episode itself? Like, cause like you said, you're going to different places, different locations. Like how long are you guys actually putting in work on each episode?
Each episode was typically filmed in about 2 days. On the show, we would have the fishing portion of the show. And then we also have an educational side story where we interview either some of our sponsors that would be such as Georgia Power. You know, they would put money into the show, and then we would go interview somebody and talk about their conservation efforts. People see the power plants on the rivers and the dams, and they think that these power companies are just making money off the water, and they don't realize how much money and stuff that all these companies are putting back, because they need the river to be healthy. If the river is not healthy, they are not going to make money. And they also need to give back and make it where people have recreational areas on the river. So then you have natural areas in the river, and everything's protected. And then you also need to protect the actual the fish. Make sure that the populations are, staying alive. And
that's obviously working with like local game wardens too, right? Did you guys ever have to run into game wardens like when you guys are doing some of these shows recording?
Yes. Drew actually almost got arrested. For trying to talk his way out of not having a permit on the New River. They pulled up, and when you got a gigantic camera on a gimbal and a huge drone out, they know you're not fishing for
some nature pics.
No, they know what's up. Yeah. So they're like, you have a permit? We're like, no. They're like, you got to get off the river. And luckily we already had our episode, so we're like, good. And then we go filming again, and they pulled up. Like,
same guys?
Yes.
Yeah, they normally work by counties or regions.
Well, it wasn't the same guys, but like in a small town, they all knew. They knew what was up. Yeah. So they pulled up on us when we were doing like a side story thing, and they're like, you got to stop, or you're about to go to jail. And yeah, whatever. Yeah, he ended up paying a fee and a fine, and we got out of it. But he didn't go to jail. But then also with not just our sponsors, but we did team up with a lot of universities, like the University of Auburn and the University of Florida, and their fisheries biology programs. And they have a lot of programs that teach young people who are learning how to take care of these resources. People don't know that there's people that are out there professionally that are keeping track of the fish and finding out what they do and how they move and all that. And it was great to meet those people and learn a lot about that.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is about doing stuff like that is you end up learning about something that you probably would have never had any experience or insight on unless you had done that. Like So obviously, I mean, it's in your outdoors the entire time. What seasons are you guys hitting primarily? Like summer, spring, winter?
Yeah, so mostly we're spring, summer, and then we might have a fall episode. And then occasionally, like we would start up a little earlier in the year and then just do something in Florida.
Yeah.
If we did something in January, February, we're just gonna go ahead and hit Florida. We actually did a really cool episode at a golf resort in Orlando. So we fished on the golf course.
They have really good fish.
Yeah, dude, they have big boys.
Yeah, they do.
They're just, I mean, because it's on a golf course, so like nobody's fishing. Nobody's fishing these fish, and it was so rad. Like people were playing golf, and we're like out there on the kayaks, and it was a really cool episode, man. And then we did a little side story because Drew likes golf and I like golf, and we did like a little side story about golf and how sort of your swing and how you use different clubs to get different distances, and the same thing with casting. You're using different lures and different stuff, and we sort of made a little like comparison with golf, and it was really cool.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
We played a little golf and it was fun.
There you go. But you still don't like fishing?
I fucking hate fishing.
What do you don't like? What do you not like about fishing? Just out of curiosity.
It really is hard. It is hard.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult.
It is hard. Trust me, when you catch something, it's fun. But it is very hard, and it's just not my thing.
Yeah. It's a different thing. It's like I was like super into it for a while, and like nothing beats the absolute rush of getting something and getting a hit and pulling. You know, like it's a rush. Like but then like like you said, the times that you're not though, you're like, I mean, like I could be literally out all day. At a couple times I was, just waiting for something to happen, and then just get kind of dismal after a while. Like, like, damn, what the fuck am I using? Then you start getting into some money issues too, because you're like spending like, oh, I need to change the lure out and try this lure, blah, 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 drop different dips, depths, drops, top lure, and whatever. But yeah, that's cool. So when you guys are doing this, are you guys using like, is it like just standard like spool or in like fly? Are you guys using flies or like anything specific?
We did do a fly fishing episode up in like the right outside of the Asheville area in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So we did do a fly fishing episode, but he uses like mostly bait casters.
Sure. Yeah.
Then he has regular
whatever setup it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just depends on what he's fishing for. And
yeah. It's all dependent. So the question I've been waiting to ask is, did you ever fall in? Did anyone ever fall in or tip over?
Yes. So we had a guest one time forget that he had his mic in his life vest.
Yeah, life vest.
Yeah, because it's the easiest way to tuck it in. We tried to hide the mic, but you still need to put it in somewhere.
Sure.
It's the safest place. And he forgot he had it in, and he went in. I forget what he was doing. Like he was either releasing a fish or he was doing something, but just got too far into the water and
killed.
Yeah, the mic was just like gone. I was like, well, now we're on one mic. But we're able to make that work, and that's one thing about shooting that kind of show is you're not in a studio and you're not anywhere where there's backup equipment. So you bring some backup stuff, backup as much as you can. We had a different kind of microphone. It was not the wireless lavalier that we were using, but we were able to use a different microphone and still make a show happen because when you're out and you're trying to film in nature and you're at nature's will. You have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Whether equipment gets damaged or you don't catch any fish, and there'd be days where we don't catch anything until the very final second of the day, and then Drew catches the fish of the episode that would be like the final fish, like the trophy fish of the day. He somehow just like bottom of the ninth hits one out of the park, and we're like, and it's like we'd get people that always like some of the guys who'd be like. They wouldn't be our guides, but I would have somebody that would be paddling me in a tandem kayak, and they would be trying to give him tips because they live there, and they're like, yeah, you should try this. And it's like, I kept on telling him, dude, just like shut up. Like you don't tell somebody who's a professional what to do. Like you got to let him do his thing, and he's gonna hit one out of the park. Just give him a second, and then we'd never win an episode without catching a fish.
That was gonna be my next question. Was like, did you ever have like one of those episodes? But that must be like. It's kind of funny because obviously the difficult part is you guys are out there, and however his success rate is, you have to be out there no matter what, because you have to record and have like film and something on. So like if it's like one of those episodes where like, dude, we're not getting anything, like no bites, no nothing, no hits, or it's not the kind of type of fish you're looking for, that must be super frustrating, especially from your perspective, because you have to record and you got to be there no matter what, and you have to be ready. And so like I would imagine like after hours of maybe not having a good day, maybe you kind of like lose your edge, you're getting kind of like tired, and then it's like then you have to be on your point if something does go. And then like obviously you guys must be like elated when you guys get some good footage, like, oh shit, here we go. Did you ever have an issue of like having to figure out what they're looking for footage wise, or was it that's your job entirely? Like we know what we're doing, don't worry about that part.
That's my job. Drew would know what to talk about. I would know what we need to capture. What segments we needed to capture, and then also going on keeping in like a good mood. We would have to film certain segments that are like a tip where we're just talking about what we would do in these situations or on this piece kind of water, what his tactic would be. And what I learned is to wait till he catches a fish. We film that segment, and then he's in a good mood. Then we film the tip. When he's casting for like 2 hours and we don't catch shit, and I'm like, hey man, we got to film this tip segment. Like it's not going to be good. Like we got to get him like,
elated
in a good mood. So it was like learning how to really direct on the water was, real great learning experience. when you have to, learn when you're doing everything on the fly on a body of water,
It's difficult.
it's very difficult, and it'll teach you a lot of things. And I was very, very glad for the experience, and I was able to use that, all across my field and working in film.
Yeah. Was that the first time you've ever been in like on a kayak before?
I had kayaked before.
Yeah.
But,
it must be kind of nervous. Dude, I would be fucking nervous as fuck with like really expensive audio equipment on a kayak specifically.
Yeah. There would be times where we have to hit some rapids.
Fuck that.
Dude, we pulled up to this place that has like class 3 rapids in northern Georgia, and we pull up, and the dude that was like hosting us is like, "You guys are getting on the river with those?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're out of your fucking mind." And we're like,
"That's not good." The local says that.
We're like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And we're like, "Yo." And then the next day he's like, "Yo, it's all good. We're going to be fine." And then we get on the water, and this is the kind of river, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
We get 100 yards down the river, and he's like, "This is a bad idea." And we're like, "Bro, you 30 seconds ago, you could have said that." Now we're in like no man's land. And there happened to be this one spot like off to the side where there's like a little trail that would take you back. And we dropped off one of the professors from Clemson University with the camera. And then, I usually keep a trash bag with me because you never know with nature.
Sure.
It could rain at any moment. So we always had a trash bag for the camera and in that situation. And we ended up riding the river to just check it out. So we had to ride the whole river. And this river is wild. It's crazy.
This is in North Georgia, right?
North Georgia.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's actually the river they filmed Deliverance.
No shit.
So that rock where they let the dude's body float away.
Yeah.
We filmed right there at the rock, and we did like a little segment with with the Deliverance song. But
hell yeah.
So we rode the whole river, and then it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Then we have to start filming our show because we have to like get all the kayaks back to the other to put in, and then we film the show, and we're like, dude, we could have done this. And then we do it, and then it starts raining. Drew flips his kayak at some point. All his rods and reels go everywhere. He's having a yard sale. It got crazy, but it was one of the raddest episodes we've ever filmed.
Memorable too, I imagine.
Unbelievable piece of river. For one of the smallest fish we've ever caught, the Bartram's bass is what they call it.
Shit,
it is like it's about like 6 to 8 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
So there was always a target fish too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like catching a memorable fish. It was always a target fish when you were going.
Yeah. Specific fish.
Very cool, man. And how long ago was that? Like when did you guys finish that?
Probably 3 years ago was the last.
All right, not too far.
Too far. Yeah. So that was one of the things we did at the agency, and we also did several things in the gun industry. That's sort of how I got into the gun industry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm not going to name any of the companies we worked with, but we were a marketing agency, worked with a couple companies in the industry, and that's sort of like what got me way more into guns than I already was.
So I was going to say, so like when did your interest in firearms specifically kind of peak, or like have you always been interested in firearms, or was there something that was just like, oh shit, I want to kind of investigate into that more, or like kind of get into that?
Well, I've like always loved firearms. And I had like some shitty handgun from like, when I was like 21 and I could buy a handgun.
Yeah.
I think my first handgun was like a Smith & Wesson.
I was a Springfield.
SW40, a 40 cal.
Oh shit.
Bro, it was like a shit gun. But yeah, I mean, I think my brother actually bought it for me for my birthday. So at the time, like I was in college I was on the 10-year plan at college. I was like one of those.
Oh, you were okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like going to college, so I figured out what the fuck I want to do. So I just partied for 10 years and went to classes.
Hell yeah.
So I was that guy. So I loved guns, but like at the time, like guns are expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive as shit. So like I just never really got too much into them.
Yeah.
So then when I graduated college and I got some money, I was like, fuck yeah, let's get a bunch of guns and build guns. And working at DA, we had a nice little shop in there where we could build rifles, and we needed to have a little like makeshift gunsmithing like little setup, because, you know, we're having to constantly change out parts on rifles or like put optics on it and just be able to like switch stuff out for product shots. And so that was nice. You know, that got me really learning how to put guns together, because I'm not an actual gunsmith, but, you know, I put together all my rifles.
Yeah. But that's the good thing about the platform, like rifles themselves. It's very simple. You know, I mean, there's so many different manuals and stuff like that you can, you know, reference and learn how to do it. Like anyone can really do it. And the availability of parts, at least, you know, a couple of years ago was super easy to source quality parts. That's cool. So obviously, diving into more of the illicit provisions part. So when did illicit provisions start? Like when did you really like what was the brainchild of you wanting to do that? You know?
So when I was working for the marketing agency, I was working for them as a contractor. Then the Corona hit, and, you know, the federal government told us 2 weeks to stop the spread, and that was a fucking lie.
yeah.
So, and then we get into like month maybe 2, I think it is. And typically whenever there's anything crazy going on in the world, I get really conservative with spending money or, just really protect my, you know, my assets, what I have. And so I wasn't really spending a lot of money, and I was just sitting on money, but I was also I was drinking tequila like every day. Like I was like, yeah, this shit'll blow over soon. So I'm like drinking Don Julio like every day, just getting drunk. It was like summer. It was like spring, summer. And I came across a guy that had some 20 round straight PMags. I bought like 5 of them from him because I was looking for some for personal.
Did you know they were rare?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, so you already kind of knew that there was
I knew what they were.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I was just starting that. So like, was there ever a point when you're like what made you think, okay, I like these mags because they're a little bit more unique?
Well, that's why, I mean, I knew what they were, and aesthetically, they're a great looking magazine.
Yeah, it's great. They're beautiful.
Some people say they run like shit, but it's probably your gun or your ammo.
True.
You can't always blame a magazine, but it could be your magazine. Magazines fail. Just like today on the range, an EMAG.
Yeah.
Amazing
for
magazine.
some reason was fucking up. Yeah.
Sucks. I mean, it's the greatest polymer magazine, I think, out there. Yeah. And it sucks that you have to trash one of those now. But
I do.
But you know, just like if a magazine fails, you fucking throw it away. And that's how it is. But yeah, with the 20 round mags, you know, I was like looking for them. I found a guy who had some. He had like 5 of them, and I bought the 5 because I was like, I really only wanted like 2, and I was gonna like flip the other 3. And you know, I flipped the other 3 in like not even an hour. I was like, holy shit, those things fucking sold quick.
Yeah.
So like I hit this guy up. I was like, how many of these things do you have? He had a fuck ton.
Yeah.
So basically, I got my $1,000 Trump bucks. Shout out to Donald Trump for that check. Illicit Provisions was started with the $1,000 from Donald Trump.
There you go.
And that was sort of the idea. I was sitting in my kitchen one night and I was drunk as shit.
And how every good story starts, right?
And I was just like, dude, I was trying to like, I loved, you know, the gun industry, but I wanted to do something that nobody else is doing. I didn't want to just be like, I'm going to copy somebody's style. I was like, nobody is putting out rare magazines and like cool camos every, you know, month or 2. You know, it was like something that nobody was doing. And I found a source for a bunch of magazines. So I bought a bunch of magazines from the guy. Then basically, like I said, with $1,000, I started off a little small. You know, you can't just, you know, I had to hire, you know, somebody to Cerakote the first ones, and then, you know, I paid for, you know, somebody to do a design for me, and then I put together my website, and then after that, and then I, you know, grow with that $1,000, and now it is to what it is today. But you know, we started off with that DNC straight PMag. I wanted to come out the gate really hot. You know,
is this kind of like when DNC was like kind of pop? Everyone was talking about DNC.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, I feel like semi popping all the time, but it has its flare ups. Like people will be like, yo, it's hot, and then it's not hot, and then it's hot again. It's obviously not an effective camo at all. I think maybe it's effective against like Gen 1 Russian night vision or something. Like, I don't know. I was fucking 10 years old during Desert Storm. So I'm not truly familiar with Desert Storm technology. But it's a rad design. Like, it's cool. And, the one thing about camos is some people like get so worked up about like effectiveness of camos when,
they kind of forget the aesthetic appeal.
Yeah. It's aesthetics. Yeah. Honestly, dude, if I was going to want to like just pick any camo, if we were in North America and I had to pick any camo, I'm rocking Realtree, baby.
Oh yeah.
Realtree. Like, if you think M81 or MultiCam is cool, Realtree, you ain't seeing us in the woods.
So we'll see. That kind of makes me wonder, are you going to do a Realtree?
I wish I could. The Realtree is just, it's such a hard pattern. You can't.
Yeah, it's
got
a lot of shit on there.
You would have to do the dipped magazine, and the hydro dipped, which is like the wallpaper of.
It's kind of trash though, isn't it?
Oh, it's white trash of.
Yeah, the white trash of
coatings.
Designing, I guess. Like,
yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, because Cerakote is very durable, for the most part.
Yes, I mean, Cerakote, other than like a pure off the realm fucking anodized, which is metal, so you can't do anodized. So yeah, Cerakote is the best. It's the reason why so many different manufacturers are using Cerakote across the board. Yeah, but yeah, so like right now he's got a bunch of sets right in front of me, so I'm looking at a couple of them, and obviously different camos. So these is this all the ones you've released, right?
That is the entire collection.
Very cool.
There.
And so how many do you keep of each set? Do you get kind of personal? Do you get kind of personal with some of these?
The only one I've actually gotten super personal with is the most basic bitch one there is, and that's the FDE EMAG. I had to keep a bunch of those for myself.
Yeah.
They're just sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have like this weird OCD thing where I keep one of every single product I put out brand new in the package, as a catalog, like a time capsule thing.
Sure.
So one day if I blow up at SHOT Show, I'm on like the top floor. You can come see my cool booth that I overpaid for.
You have like a record of everything.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you don't use any of these? Do you use any of these? Obviously.
Yes. I mean, I've used them. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if you're like one of those things where like you have one and then it just like it gets stored.
No. Yeah. I definitely use the straight PMags. I'll use those while I'm hunting, just so I can flex on the deer. Just before they die.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So again, we'll go back a little bit. So obviously the first one you did, like you said, straight 20 DNC. Like what kind of size? I mean, like, I'm not going to ask specifics of how many you're buying each time, but like, obviously as you've gotten and progressed, have you started buying more mags to supply like a demand, or is it just kind of like just,
yeah, well, I always buy, a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this, sometimes I've bought 5 or 10, sometimes I've bought 200.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've bought more than that. It really just depends.
Market availability.
It just depends on the availability and the price. Obviously, I'm running a business, so I have to hit a certain price. If the price isn't there, I can't buy them. Just because it's a rare mag, like, I don't give a shit. Like, if your price isn't good, I can't buy them. So I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about what I do, and they wonder why the magazines are so expensive, is they don't understand how hard it is to acquire this many magazines in new condition.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
These are all new. I only offer new product, and these are all discontinued.
Yeah. These literally. So for those, I've had people ask me too, because I have some of each. I honestly don't have any of yours, but I have straight 20s and EMAGs, and that's been something several people have asked me. And I'm like, listen, my man, they don't make these anymore. They're discontinued. They literally do not manufacture these magazines. So obviously there's a high demand. It's not the same 20 round PMag from Magpul now. Like the Gen 3 and Gen 2s are different types of mag. They're different types. Like, one's a little bit curved. They come with a premium price now because they don't make them. And people know that too. So it's funny that you bring that up, because I think people understand is, one, it has to be profitable. You're not doing it for charity, for giving out free shit. And then there's work behind it. Obviously, logistics of finding something and sourcing, and then also finding a quality Cerakoter who can meet the standards you're looking for. And that takes time. Same thing.
A lot of time. And that's what people won't see. They won't see the amount of time that's spent finding these magazines.
Yeah.
What I tell people is like, go for it. You probably go on like ARFCOM or like TaxSwap, and you might find one used and beat up for like $50, but go find me a box of 100 brand new ones.
Yeah.
Please.
It's impossible.
Please. And that's what I'm very good at, is finding things like rare items, like these magazines. I put a lot of time into it. And then not only that is I work with the best Cerakote artist in the industry, and John Weichel and Weichel Performance Coatings, and he's a genius, dude. He's an amazing dude. He goes above and beyond what I expect. I mean, some of these patterns, what he will do is spray them as a test, and then send me photos and be like, what do you think about the colors? And then we go from there. Like he's not going to just get the contract and then just spray them and then just send them to me.
Yeah. Good luck.
He like shows me the colors
Research
and
time,
see what we think about it and see how they look. And, for somebody to be able to do that's the kind of person I want to work with, somebody who actually cares about what they're doing. 'Cause I care about what I'm doing.
Yeah. John is awesome. I've used him as well. And I will always advise, and people ask me like Cerakote or stuff like that. I'm like, oh, you should get Weichel Armament. Well, I guess it's not Weichel Armament anymore. It's Weichel Performance. Yeah. So always does a great job. But yeah, so again, that's a complex process, because then you have to color match stuff as well with patterns. And, obviously some patterns are more specific and have more detail to them, detail oriented. And then you obviously are doing a pattern on each one. And man, that can get super complex, especially when you're matching colors and doing color coding and stuff like that with Cerakote, because sometimes you have to do different grades of stuff. So yeah, that's really crazy.
That's what makes it difficult. When you look at a camo pattern, some of these shades that they use, especially like some of the European colors, like the Tropentarn or the Splitter Tarn, even like the 1942 Frog Skin magazine, like those are not sort of normal colors. Like that has like a goldish color in there, like a gray. They're not like just off the wall. I mean, like off the shelf Cerakote colors. Sometimes John has to mix stuff up and to get stuff looking a certain way. And it's almost impossible to get something completely clone correct to the color. But we try our best. I think the best ones so far have always been the chocolate chip PMags. And we first started with the Porkside.
Sorry, continue.
We started with the Portside Munitions straight PMag. Kevin from Portside, he's one of the first dudes that really started fucking with the vision that I had. He thought it was rad, and he's actually the only dude on the planet who will have the entire Il Pro collection, which is unique. I guess we're dating now. I guess.
Yeah, dating.
I guess he's like my boyfriend now. But Kevin's rad. He was he wanted to do something cool, and I knew the chocolate chip camo is always hot, so we did that one. And dude, that magazine sold out in like 45 seconds.
I was gonna say, so like, do you have one that's like your quote unquote fastest selling mag?
The Porkside mag could probably have been the fastest selling. I would say the latest that Warm and Fuzzy would have been, except my website is absolute dog shit and crashed. But I guess
you suck, dude.
I mean, dude, there's thousands of people that wanted that. And regardless if the website crashed, like you would have just missed out 15 minutes earlier if it didn't, because there was only 100 made. Oh, there's 110 made, but we kept a couple. But we sold 100, and I'm sure those 100 would have sold in 60 seconds. And for anybody that did miss out on that mag, I am sorry. I know so many people love that magazine and wanted them, but like I said, this is a very rare, hard to find magazine. And if I could make 1,000 of them, I would.
Well, again, like we're talking about a very specific mag that's no longer manufactured and it's hard to source. And like, dude, they haven't made that mag. We've been on Gen 3 mags for quite some time now. Those E mags were made for like one specific purpose. and they stopped making them after that. So it's like sourcing those mags is difficult. So like, I think people will think, oh, well, that's 100 is not that much. Like, dude, that's a lot of E-mags to source, to find, and then get Cerakote. That's a shit ton of E-mags. Like, that's hard to find.
Yeah.
For a good price, obviously, that's profitable, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's super difficult. It's and of course, when you attach Mr. Warm Fuzzy, you know, that's always going to bring attention to a lot of folks too. So like when you have that, so what was like some motivation for like the name? The name obviously is one, and then, you know, specifically, like you said, you were trying to figure out some kind of like thing that no one else was doing, which was the camos. So, but like, where did the name come from?
I think, you know, with the name, I sat around for a few days. It was probably like maybe 3 to 5 days, like throwing around stuff, and then you know, pulling up a thesaurus. The thesaurus is your best friend. You may have a word that you like, but then there's like a different word that means sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
Or like sort of
It's the same though, but with different little tones. It's like
So,
saying something French.
Yeah.
Like a royale, you know.
So yeah, thesaurus is your best friend. So like I pulled out a thesaurus and I was like thinking, dude, like, you know, the illicit part came from the fucking feds always trying to be habitual line steppers, trying to like always come up with some gun laws, always trying to take our shit. You know, we want fucking machine guns. Give us machine guns. We want machine guns. I think I'd be happy with that. Like, I don't need Black Hawk helicopters. I'll be good if you just give us machine guns. Okay. So please give us machine guns, feds, if you're listening. I'm sure they are. So yeah, basically illicit was, you know, basically coming off as like contraband.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because mags are obviously banned in
Certain states, yeah.
And, you know, in being provisions of like provisional companies like offerings,
Sure.
being able to supply. So it was that's where the name came from.
Everything.
I wanted to be able to have something that related to, you know, the war on guns, and then also being able to, you know, have a name that sort of like was like us supply these things.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes sense, like it all blended together. So obviously that's different things. So obviously, so you had you had actually six straight 20s in a row. When did you shift to like an E-mag? Like when, like, do you have specific mags that like are on your quote unquote hit list that you want to get? Or is it pretty much just like the straight 20s? Cause they're obviously, again, a Gen 2 mag that's rare. And then you went to E-mag, which again, same thing, straight, you know, it's not straight, but Gen 2 mags that are rare, hard to find.
Well, yeah, so the 20 round P mags, those are Gen 1.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I thought they were Gen 2.
That is the first generation 20 round magazine from Magpul.
Gotcha.
The original 20 rounder. And those were actually made in the Colorado facility. And then Magpul moved out of the Colorado facility because of
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm glad. Shout out to Magpul for, you know, just moving out of there for that fuckery. But yeah, those were originally made in the Colorado factories.
Yeah, I see Boulder, Colorado right there too.
Yeah, so those were Gen 1. And then the E magazine was, you know, it stands for Export Magazine, and that was made for that UK contract for the SA-80s and the 416
Yeah.
UKs. And then obviously the Navy contract, you know, 'cause a lot of those team dudes are running 416s. And they love those mags. It's really a rad magazine.
Yeah, dude. People ask me all the time, and like, dude, it's like one of the most aesthetically pleasing looking mag, Cerakote or not. It's just a great look. Dude, I love it. I fucking love it, dude. I love it.
I really don't understand why Magpul stuck with the Gen 3 look with that ribbed body, because, you know, basically, I guess it's supposedly the same magazine as the Gen 3, but the Gen 3 has the normal P-bag grip. I'm not a fan of. You know, I don't want anything that can sort of catch on elastic retention.
Right.
You know, I want it to kind of pull out smooth, and you know, I feel like they drop free out of a lot of guns.
Yeah, I think you have less issues with between different lowers and stuff like that. Same thing. I mean, like that's again, like that's what I will run a lot of. I have a little mix of everything, but yeah. So okay, so we have some Again, the straight 20s. I did not realize that about them being mostly Gen 1 and stuff like that. I have to go look at mine and just check that out. But then you do have one metal mag with a pork side. So what is this exactly? It says England in here. I don't know anything about it.
Yes. So
Steel.
That is a steel magazine with an England sticker on them from Imperial Defense Services. So Imperial Defense Services was a guy in England, an arms dealer. He was making those mags. He was also selling like handguns and rockets and shit like that. But he was doing like some illegal deals with, those like Uzbekistan or something.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce. But he was like doing these illegal deals, and then there was like an undercover operation where he was like gonna supply some guns to like Syria or something.
No shit.
And like then he got busted and he went to prison. So like that's what got me on those magazines. It was his story. Like it was some real like just illicit shit. Like,
Gangster shit, yeah.
Like he was like didn't give a shit about the laws and the arms laws, and he was just doing some illegal shit and went to prison for it. And so like obviously the company's no longer around, but that's what makes that mag cool. And it's like where do you find a 30-round AR mag or SAAD or but where are you gonna find a 30-round magazine in standard capacity made in England?
Yeah, no, I didn't realize. Yeah.
That, nobody has those guns.
So on this mag, you have now is that I'm assuming lasered at the bottoms?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
So
the Il-Pro Portside collaboration logo.
Gotcha.
So he did a little bomb on the end of the.
Yeah. He does have a cool. That's the only thing good from pork side is the bomb logo. It was really good. I like that. So the England does come laser on there from when they made it.
That's an actual sticker that's on it.
Oh, okay. So it's an actual sticker. So okay, yeah, I could feel it now. That I didn't.
Yeah. So I didn't want to remove the sticker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those things came in like this sealed plastic that was like greasy and they were like all oiled up.
Cosmoline and every shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was basically like the equivalent of like when you buy a barrel from somewhere. And it's like
Yeah,
greasy
Cosmoline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just
Coated in fucking.
coated.
Yeah.
And obviously
Grimy.
this has been sitting around for 10, 15 years in some
Yeah.
warehouse. And I just came across some of those and then I thought of the backstory. Nobody really had ever heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the story itself was pretty cool. So, that's why I did those mags.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, and it's a good change of pace. Now, do you think this will be the last time you do metal mags, or do you think you'll come back to metal mags, or just kind of just depend on the flavor of the month?
Yeah, it just really depends on the flavor. The reason why I couldn't Cerakote those is because of the England sticker. I wanted to keep them really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have covered that sticker up, and that's really what makes it a cool looking mag. And it's a steel mag. Some people do like steel mags. I think aluminum GI is fine, but
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, okay, so we're on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the recent one was your 12th mag you've released.
Yes.
Damn, dude.
The warm and fuzzy mag was
Hectic.
dude crazy. They look so sick.
It came out great, yeah.
Great, dude. Like it's amazing. Like I'm getting people that have received them, been getting them in the mail this past week, and people are DMing me being
Just
like,
impressed.
This thing is fucking perfect.
Yeah. Dude, that must be a great feeling, getting like appreciation for something too. And, obviously if John's listening, you better be fucking listening, John. Just getting appreciation for work done, because I mean, again, that's incredible. I mean, like I said, the mag's right in front of me, and the quality of each one is really solid. Like, each one's done is very, very nicely done. It doesn't look like half-assed or anything like that. It looks authentic when you look at it, like it was actually the pattern. So obviously, again, you're going through a multi-step process, getting all the colors, getting the actual like pattern, stuff like that. So how do you go about choosing which pattern you're doing next? Is it just like, kind of like what you yourself is like, you know what, I'm really fucking with DCU right now, or Chaco, like, is it like, I'm just fucking with this right now. I want to do some mags right fucking now.
So
like,
I fuck with all the camos. Like I like camos.
Yeah.
There's some people that'll be like, yo, I only run this kind of kit.
Yeah.
It's like if you open my closet, you're gonna be like, holy.
Yeah, a plethora.
Camo, like I have fanny packs in every color. I have slings in every color. Backpacks in every color. It's like I love camos. And also like I think it's cool. It's something that really can go with, like your clothing. Like if you got a camo jacket, you can wear with your.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a piece of. I think camo is like almost like art.
Yeah, I know.
Very fashionable.
Yeah, 100%.
I think not fashionable like we're like high fashion, but I wear earth tones. I love earth tones. My clothes are always earth tones. So camos are earth tones. So that's why I think I'm really drawn towards camo everything.
Yeah.
I don't go around camoed out every day, but there's not a particular camo I like. I will say that you will probably never ever see me do MultiCam black. MultiCam black is gay.
Okay, so I will be the first to admit, I don't mind black multicam. I don't mind it as aesthetic appealing. I like the colors.
Just wear black. Just wear
I don't
black.
care. I don't fucking care.
Let's go goth.
I don't
Just
fucking care.
I'll wear black skinny jeans.
God damn it.
Black t-shirt is the same thing, dude.
I don't. God damn it, I don't care. I still like it.
I don't care anybody's argument.
Right.
But what I will say about camos, and I'm not some expert in the field.
Snob, yeah, something.
But I will say this: if you start light with aired colors, you can always add on to what you're wearing to get darker. You can't go from multicam black to lighter.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where people will say, like multicam black or a dark camo is good, I think any camo in its environment, as the light changes to more darkness, so does your vision. So
Right.
it's still gonna be in the environment in the same colors that the eye see. So if it gets later in the day, the sun setting, your arid colors and arid environment are still going to blend in because that's what the eye sees.
Yeah.
So just as long as you have something to your environment, that you're good to go.
Yeah.
Like I said, I prefer Realtree. I think it has a lot of the light tan colors with a little bit of green, a little bit of brown. I think it could be used almost in an arid setting. They should come up with like an arid Realtree. I think would be cool.
That would be dope.
More of an arid one.
Like a tannish, like more sand hills. So like I know in South Carolina, like the middle of the land, there's a lot of sandy. So you can see a lot more tan and like lighter gray kind of color. So yeah, that makes sense.
But with picking the camos, I've actually been on an arid thing, and I got to get off this arid kick. And sorry guys, the next straight PMAG's arid. I won't tell you what camo it is, but their straight PMAGs are coming back. I know you've been wanting them. I don't think I've dropped one since last summer. Everybody's like, where are the straights? The straights are coming back, and we're bringing something you'll probably love.
Ooh.
But, when I first started, I was trying to go from jungle patterns to arid patterns because half of us live in wooded Appalachia, East Coast, and then you have the desert boys out west.
Yeah.
But I like desert stuff and I like jungle stuff, so that's why I have all of them. But
Yeah. You just don't fuck with black multicam.
don't fuck with that. Just wear a black t-shirt and black jeans.
Dude, you're gonna upset some people. There's a lot of black multicam fans.
I mean, dude, do it. Like, it's your thing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not wearing it. I'm not gonna make fun of you for wearing it. It's your life. Like, I'm just saying, I personally don't like it. That does not mean it's not right or you can't
Yeah.
wear it.
Well, see, but like I will say that, like as we're saying that to me kind of like raises something that I was gonna say. It's like I appreciate the fact that like because maybe that's not something that you're really fond of or appreciate. Not appreciative of, but you just again not very fond of. That you're not really interested in doing it, so you're not gonna just appease a market. You're not going to just do it just to do it. Like you're not just doing black multicam because you're like, oh, okay, I know that I'll be successful and it'll be a big hit. No, you're not doing that. You're going to like, I'm going to do colorways and patterns that I like, and that is a part of the process. So, yeah, so that's very cool. So at least being authentic and like part of the selection of like not moving out of that realm of like like okay, well I'm doing this because I know I'm going to make a lot of money in selling it.
Yeah, it's definitely not about that. It's about, for me, it's making I consider these things pieces of art. When people are like, why would you buy $100 Cerakoted magazine? Well, it's like, okay, but you don't have to buy these to run on like as your duty mags or whatever. Like I have an unhealthy amount of regular GI mags in boxes in my closet. You know, you don't have to have a full kit of Ill Pro magazines and be all Gucci'd out. To me, it's a piece of art. If you want to buy it because it's a rare magazine and put it on your desk or put it on your shelf, you will buy stupid figurines of Star Wars or whatever the fuck, and you'll put those up.
Display stuff,
so, yeah, you like guns? You like camos? Well, buy a really nice, rare magazine, well painted, and you have a piece of art you could put up. You don't have to run it in your gun. And for me, that's what this is. You know, it's something that's just different. You can run
collection piece and stuff.
If Kevin from Portside, dude, he runs the shit out of his. You know, he's you know, like I said, he's the only other person with every single mag, and he runs the shit out of them, dude. You know, and then there's a couple people that bought the, you know, 4 of the warm and fuzzy mags because they were like, yo, I want a full kit.
Yeah, full set,
so,
yeah.
You know, I limited those to 4 per order, you know, because anybody who's buying my stuff to resell it, fuck you. Like, straight up, like, fuck you. Like, you know, like, get a better side hustle. But, like, buying my stuff from...
To flip, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all you're doing is taking it away from somebody who actually really wants it. And I think there's a lot of that going on in the industry right now that's really sad. Yeah,
because on top of that, one, like, again, we're talking about limited mags that are no longer manufactured whatsoever. We're not talking about the part of you owning them. It's the part that they literally physically are no longer made by Magpul. So that's like one part. That's like a delicate part of the series, and then you have to do the logistics part. But besides that, I mean, it's very difficult to get some of this stuff, and then the supply chains are already difficult as it is on some things before all of that business comes into effect. So yeah, it's very difficult for people. And
it's just sad to see. One of the biggest things the biggest products that I've seen dropped recently that has been flipped more than people using it is the latest Superior Defense dumpster that was in MultiCam black. And you'll actually see, if you're on my Instagram, there's a photo of that dumpster full of FDE mags.
I thought on your page.
Yeah, so
I thought you said you don't like MultiCam black.
I don't like MultiCam black.
But you have one.
There's one.
Okay.
In my closet.
All right.
So, yes.
Hypocrite. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it was just a flex. To have a dumpster full of FDE mags. I think 48 AMAX fit into a dumpster, if you were wondering. Just if you're wondering what fits into a dumpster, 48 AMAX.
There you go.
So there you go. For anybody wondering the size of the dumpster, it was 48 AMAX.
There you go.
But,
Corey.
Yeah, it was very sad to see, like, on a lot of the trade groups, so many people have bought this thing and then they're selling on eBay for like $500. It's like...
That's wild,
dude,
man.
It's like crazy that people are buying this thing just to try to take advantage of other people that really actually want it.
It must be kind of just, obviously that's always a frustration as like a seller, because obviously the end goal for you is because you're getting your profit and you want your product to go to someone to a consumer that is wanting that product for either a use or like, whatever reason for collection, etc. You don't want someone to get it and then for them to basically get it to flip it as a profit, because then again that it's frustrating too, because like then you have to deal with all the customer service portion of it, because again it's not like you're doing it on purpose. Jezza, I'm gonna have to pause it and I'm gonna go feed them real quick and stop that whininess. But I have like this intensive like pictures saved, all of memes and stuff like that. That like the most normal person is like, what the fuck does that mean?
Dude, my iCloud like storage is like mostly memes. So I pay a bunch of money for memes to be stored on the
Pretty
cloud.
much, yeah, same. Yeah, same exact thing.
It's like, but they're my memes. I can go get them whenever I want.
Yeah, I'm also like really specific. So like I will send like memes out to people, and if I see them post it, I stop sending them. Like, hey, you just fucking You just violated my meme law, my fucking like foreign policy of memes. If you fucking post my memes out and put them on my story and like show anything, like I'm like, nah, bro, you're fucking out. Like you're not getting another fucking meme ever because you've just violated. I don't let people fucking see that. It's like showing where the products, you know, like the fucking cookies baked, you know.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with that.
Memes are currency, dude.
Dude, they fucking are NFTs, dude.
Yeah.
I'll send you one in a minute. All right. So, small little bathroom break. But anyways, we're back. And so again, we were talking about the reselling. And so obviously, again, like as a seller, obviously the end goal is to get a product to someone who is wanting what your product is. And so like that must be incredibly frustrating dealing with people who are like, you know, obviously buying something in bulk or max and then just flipping it, you know, obviously trying to flip it for profit because it is something that's highly sought after. You know, like what is that? Like, you know, obviously a bunch of people deal with it, but.
And I think anybody who creates something, like I do, that puts a lot of time and effort and, a lot of like heart into it. They want it to go to people who want it. Yeah. I mean, I think that it goes across so many industries. People that really care about what they're doing. Obviously, like big brands like Nike and whatever, they don't give a shit. But like the small brands that like, you know, the niche things, you know, those people care about what they're doing and they want them to go to people who want this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're buying my stuff just because you think it's like some hype beast thing, like the reason why it's hot is because they're fucking rad. You know, it's not to be because it's some expensive thing you can flip. They're fucking rad. And people that think they're rad should have them. And, you know, I feel it sucks when I see somebody who, you know, it doesn't really suck, but I feel bad for them. Like I'll have people that'll say, hey, I found your thing on the secondary, but I paid $200 for it, but I finally got it. But they're stoked, you know, it's like that person's stoked to get it. But I feel bad that they had to pay some fucking dipshit to, you know, an extra $100, $200 to, you know, buy this. Like some dude bought my Doughboy blade, the Doughboy DCU knife for $750 on eBay. It was, I think we sold the knife for $300. I think it was a $300 knife. Very well made. Doughboy blade, shout out. Makes a very good knife.
Yeah. I have one of his knives somewhere.
Yeah. Great dude. You know, and that was one of the guys, like I like finding people that are small and doing what I'm doing and then reach out and then we make something cool together. You know, obviously you have killer knives out there. You have the Microtechs and you have the half face blades, but there's young guys who are getting into it. They're doing it themselves and they're doing really good work and they're growing. And that's one kid that I see is going to be putting out some killer knives in the years to come. So very glad to do something with Doughboy. Those knives were rad.
Yeah, I actually have one of his older knives that I purchased from one of his squid knives. And again, same thing. Solid knife, and then it even came in very well packaged and everything. Like, you know,
very well packaged.
Yeah, you would think like the way it was like produced that is a much bigger brand or like distributor than it is, and then like, you know, it was again. I agree totally.
Yeah, I mean when he sent me the knives, I opened up each box and they had like all these like swag packs of stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is way over the top. This is, you know, way more than I expected, and it was a rad thing to do, and hopefully you know, we'll be doing something again soon.
Yeah.
Something a little different than that knife. He does a lot of different knives, and even some, I think he's done some like sort of custom stuff. I know with White Knuckle Syndicate he did those like gut plugs. Those are little rad stabbies, but yeah, man. So I hopefully do something again with him in the future. But yeah, that was a rad knife. But yeah, you know, just seeing that knife go for $750 on eBay is,
it hurts.
It's like, dude, you know, there was that guy that bought that knife because he wanted that knife, and then he had to go through some dipshit. That knife was limited to one per person. You know, for some stuff, I have to limit to one per order, one per person. And if you make like a multiple orders, I'll cancel it. You know, it's one per customer. And it's always a learning experience with the warm and fuzzy mags. You know, we did 100 And there's a couple guys that reached out to me that were asking me about limits. They're like, I just want a full kit. So I limited it at 4. And there were some dudes that bought it to, get a full kit. They wanted a chest rig and then be able to put one in the rifle. And that's awesome. And there's also a couple dudes that bought 4 because they wanted to sell 2 or 3 and then get theirs for free or and then make some money.
Right.
And so it's like a learning process. And I think with certain quantities of mags, it just all depends on, what mag I'm doing at the time. The next straight P mag that's coming out is going to be a very popular camo pattern. And I think after this last experience, I'm just going to limit that one to, and probably all the straight P mags going forward, since it's such a rare magazine. And that's the highly desired magazine that I do. I mean, obviously the E mag sell just as well, but people really come after the straight P mags, and that's what I started my brand with. And I think for now on, I'm going to move to a one per customer system. So if you want to sell it, you have to get rid of yours.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to keep one and then sell one.
Make money. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to make money, you're going to have to give it up.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, again, it's just frustrating because sometimes it's people that don't even care about whatever it is. Like, again, it's like not even, it's just that them noticing a profitable product that's, able to resell for a high value. Yeah. I mean, and at least, I don't know, it's frustrating, especially like with stuff like this. Cause I mean, again, you're trying to get it to someone who wants the product, and I think that's always the end goal is like, because to me, satisfaction wise is like seeing someone either wear something or use something or like having a sticker somewhere, like, oh, that's awesome. Cause like, they are really satisfied with what they got.
Yeah. I mean, I get DMs from guys that are like, dude, I love what you're doing. You're one of my favorite brands. And it like blows my mind that I have people that are like, this is my favorite product that I bought from somebody. And it's awesome, man, to have, people that really dig it. And they get it. I make all this stuff because I want it. I personally want it. Like that is almost why IlPro came about. I originally wanted some DNC straight P mags and some Woodland and some DCU. And I was actually going to just buy some personal and have John Cerakote them for personal. And then the whole IlPro thing came up and I was like, well, I'll sell them. Mm-hmm. So basically, like anything you see me put out, it's because I want it.
Yeah.
I don't care about money. I don't make anything to just make money. I make it because I want it, and I'll sell it to people.
Profitable on the side,
and people like it. So that's cool.
So is that like something that goes into consideration when choosing like patterns and stuff like that and camos for?
Well, not really. I think there's so many rad patterns out there. Going back to, I started Illicit Provisions. I think the first drop was September 2020. I started the process of like production in like July and like starting the Instagram and promo to get ready for a September drop. And I think, in those few months I built up to like 2,000 followers. And at the time, like I was like, yo, this is awesome. 2,000 followers. And then like right at the end of December, like December 28th, 29th of 2020, I did some really dumb shit on social media. Like I'll post whatever, but the Instagram overlords, they don't like certain shit. And one day I went on Google and Google searched like stock photos of just the most retarded gun shit you could. It was like a lady holding a gun to a, like a little fish in a fish tank. And then like a grandma holding the gun. It was like just the weirdest pictures I could find on stock photos of people with guns doing weird shit that I'm like, why would you ever buy this stock photo?
Yeah.
And I thought the photos were funny and they were watermarked. So I was like, fuck it. I'm not like stealing though. It's watermarked. So I like post all these watermarked photos and they flagged. Like it was so many hits. I posted like 8 photos in a row, but that was like, it had so many hits that got my account deleted.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I woke up and it was like, your account, you don't have access to your account. I was like, what the fuck did I do? And then I read like their thing and I'm like Googling it. I'm like, you can't even use like watermark. Like you can see it's like, this is Dreamtime Photo or, whoever makes these stock photos, like you see their name on it, but that is still against the rules. So that was a big fuck up. Using those photos. So like I have to be very careful with a lot of the stuff I post. People follow my account for like some crazy shit that I post, but oh man, I wish you could see the shit that I have on my phone that I wish I could post. Yeah. I promise you there's way better heat on my phone than the shit that I post.
That's wild though. I mean, but like, again, that's like the big frustrating part because again, like for me, I know, and I know for you, Instagram is a pivotal portion of marketing, your brand and your name. So like, being able to distribute and stuff like that. And then there's always I'll see it all the time. It's like the stuff about like, oh, please like my post because it's shadow ban or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, frustrating because
there's no really such thing as shadow ban. You're just not working the algorithm right.
Yeah.
You have to, I think the algorithm constantly always changes. Sometimes there is like this thing where you have to type your full name into the search, and somebody thinks they're like shadow banned. But I think it's one of those things that you probably don't know exactly what you're talking about. You think you're shadow banned, but it's probably a little something different. I'm not a tech lord, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think that when you think like you're targeted, you got to think there's like millions of Instagram accounts. Like nobody's like out there
similar.
That. But going back to that, getting zucked. So I got zucked, but like I have to get my stuff into production months into advance. Like I'm planning and like buying mags and then sending them off. So there's like a little bit of time that goes into some of these mags. And in the beginning of, I wanted to start 2021, January and February, I started with the Rhodesian. And then I went to the splitter tarn. And those are also two camos that are coming after I did very popular camos in the DNC M81 and DCU. So it's very, like I waited for those camos after I had already dropped some really popular camos because the Rhodesian, some people like it. Most people don't even know what splitter tarn is or when it was used. But it's a very cool German camo. But my account got zucked and I already had these things into production and I dropped them. And then like, I'm used to the shit selling out in like a minute. And then like I think the Rhodesians didn't even sell out. So I woke up the next morning, they were sold out. And then the splinter tarn took like, it took like a day to sell too. And it was all because my account got zucked. And there were so many people that didn't, know what happened to me or anything. And that's when I made I did make a mistake of not having a newsletter set up. So now, I've tried to build my newsletter where newsletter people, followers, will get an email with all the information of upcoming drops. And usually that's always before it goes on to Instagram.
Sure.
So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you'll get the information first. Except for the drop on Monday, because I'm a fucking idiot and I've been busy all week and I forgot to do the newsletter. But yes, this Monday, this is going to be
a week after. Yeah. Probably like Monday. This podcast is going to be like a couple days later.
Yeah. So in a couple days, I have a drop and I forgot to do a newsletter. But, I'm going to get that out tomorrow. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So the newsletter is something I didn't have going because you can zuck me, but you can't fuck with my website or my email list. And if you sign up for the newsletter, I promise you I'm not like Brownells or Mag Warehouse where I'm going to send you a fucking email twice a day. You're going to get one a month with all the info. And
yeah, that's it's funny because like I have it on my email as well. It's like, hey, just FYI, I don't spam you email every fucking week. Like it's more relative to anything that I'm releasing. So if I'm releasing something, then you'll probably get an email about it and that's it. Like you're not going to get spammed. So like, I think that's important to me because like nothing is more aggravating than getting needless emails about something that I don't give a fuck about already. So, but that's the thing though. Like Instagram is it's such a pivotal portion to even our industry, even though they hate this type of kind of like part of the world, like industry wise, but it's so pivotal because Instagram, like what else is there? like, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of different areas or locations to be able to advertise or, market what your brand is and who you are without using Instagram. Unfortunately, again.
What is wild is, so Facebook and Instagram obviously owned by the same,
Right.
Meta. World, whatever. Fuck that Zuckerberg dude. He's a dick. Yeah, so like on Facebook, they'll like really like they like hate gun shit. Like, but then you go on Instagram and then there's like you can have gun stuff. It's so crazy. And then the people on Instagram are much cooler than the Facebook kids. You'll get I see stuff on Facebook. I have to be on there to like, just be aware of what's going on. I see the groups. Like, obviously my stuff's talked about in some of the popular groups that trade the Sup Def and Warm and Fuzzy and the the Ford observation shit. And I'm actually shocked that my stuff is being talked about in those groups, and that was pretty cool. But then you're gonna see, like with everything, you're gonna see the people that love this stuff, and then you're gonna see the haters. And there's so much hate I call it hate book. It is a negative. It's a negative place where you'll see a lot more positivity on Instagram, and then you get people. So occasionally you get people on Instagram who will make some dumb comments. And if you own a brand, I would actually suggest this. Weapon Outfitters, great company. I buy shit from Weapon Outfitters all the time. Love their content. Love what the dude does with his, girls with guns, calendars and photos, and the Weapons After Dark or Weapon Outfitters After Dark, whatever he calls it. But yeah, really rad company. I buy shit from them. But on his Instagram story, he posted a link showing that you can go to your settings and set it up where only people who follow you can comment. So it keeps all the mouth breathers from running their mouth on your Instagram page, because I don't need to hear what are you you think you're typing something that I'm going to give a fuck about? Why would I even care? What you're saying that's negative to me. If I just don't get people that write negative shit to people. It's such a weird.
So when you're dealing with people like that, is it mostly because you think they missed out on something?
Well, sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's people that don't understand what it is. Like somebody said, this guy who sells overpriced dip PMags. Well, they're straight PMags and they're EMags, so they're a little different than PMags.
Yeah,
and they're not dipped. But it's people. Some people just don't understand.
Right, it's different. Yeah,
and so then they get upset because they don't know what they're talking about. And we know this. If you're gonna get into something, you're gonna start talking about it, you better know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Some people don't, and it's just so weird that people will comment on something needlessly, and just to let their opinion be known, that it's just some hatred. It's such a weird attitude to have.
Yeah.
And what people will see on my Instagram is me reposting some of this. I will screenshot some of the comments and just post them up there and be like, "Oh, pro sucks." I think it's funny. I'm not going to go back and forth with you because I don't know. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, it's a waste of your time, though. I mean, it's not worth it because you're entertaining.
It's not healthy.
Yeah,
it's not healthy.
Unhealthy, yeah.
It's unhealthy behavior. It's toxic behavior, and the gun community is fucking full of it. Honestly, I probably hate 99% of gun owners.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Trust me, I want you to have a gun. I'm not going to say we should red flag these motherfuckers, but trust me, just because you have a gun, we ain't friends.
Yeah.
There's people that think that make guns their personality. And I think guns are rad. That's it. They're not my personality. I love shooting guns. It was fun today to, hang out with you and shoot guns. And it was also fun because we're the same type of person. When we went out to the range, there's obviously people that were not like us.
Yeah. It's a little unique. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing, but we're not I don't know.
It's different.
Yeah, it's just different. It's
you just kind of realize there's just a couple different breeds of stuff that you kind of run into, and everyone has a little bit different prerogatives of stuff. And obviously people in different points of their life will maybe have different things and blah blah blah. It's fine, but again, like you said, it's just like you don't need to just make it to where guns are everything that revolves around the sun when you're anywhere and everywhere. Like it's just, dude, it's just like you can expand further, you know. And I agree. Like I say this almost every time because I feel like a lot of people that come on or have a similar mindset, and that's what I aim for, is to have a similar mindset, focus on that people appreciate. But same thing. It's just like Corey. It's like you can enjoy other things in life. You don't have to make sure everything, you know, connects with guns every time you enjoy a different hobby or outlet, you know. And it just, but some people just don't have that, you know, like they just auto connect everything. It's like, okay.
And through my Instagram, you know, like you'll see some Instagram pages where people are like always show photos of like just gun. They'll like either take pictures of guns or like they're like training or whatever they're doing on a flat range. And they're like kitted up and taking photos of them doing that. And it's like, you know, there's just so much of that. Like I don't want to be like that. That's not who I am. So like when you see my Instagram, it's cool, just like artsy, crazy, weird gun photos, something related with firearms, because obviously I sell firearms magazines.
Right.
So like the Instagram page is going to be geared towards that. But, you know, like if you look through it, you know, I try to find like cool, weird, artsy photos.
Unique, yeah.
And then throw in like, obviously you'll see some of my content, which is mostly like photoshopped or, you know, weird, cool stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm just, I don't know, man.
You just don't want to have to make it to where your brand is focused on specific things every single time, you know, and it's nice. It's refreshing. So it's not like it just gets repetitive. Like I think that's a very good aspect to have, because to me, I mean, maybe some people are different, but like having the same repetitive nature on every single thing, whether it be marketing or whatever, you know, it just gets old. It's like, okay, it's the same thing that I saw last time, but it's a little bit different, but it's the same thing.
So, there's a little bit of a difference. So there are people that do that very well. MEM projects. You know, Mike and I did the Ghost Gun Chronicles mixtape to raise money for FPC. Amazing. If you don't follow MEM projects, go follow him.
Dude, he's so underappreciated.
Dude,
honestly.
Amazing photography, amazing aesthetics, great dude. You know, I can't tell you too much about him, but
absolutely.
You know, but he's a really great dude. We're working on Ghost Gun Chronicles Volume 2. It'll be hitting this summer. The most fire mixtape. If you heard the first mixtape, mixtape number 2 is gonna be absolute heater. We're gonna try to raise. I think the last time we raised $2,600 for FPC. This year the goal is gonna be like 10 grand. You know, I want to make 10 grand on. And if you got the mixtape, I know a lot of people got it, and I got great responses. They were like, yo, this is fire. And they're like, it's perfect for working out. It's 45 minutes. Yeah. So it's a great workout. If you're like lifting, you know, it's a great workout. I like to lift and listen to rap music, and then a lot of cardio, be more focused on like dance music. Because I like to get a certain rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, but you lifting weights, you know, you gotta get thorough with it.
A little heat and stuff.
Heat.
Which is funny because I think that's something that you and I relate on quite a bit, is like rap music too. Because like we've discussed that very much, like back and forth and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, we talked about like when I was shooting fishing stuff, but at the same time as shooting fishing stuff, I was shooting like all the biggest rappers in the world, like fucking T.I., Migos, Young Dolph. I can't tell a story about Young Dolph.
That's fine. Yeah.
We'll just keep that. But Young Dolph, man, God, R.I.P. to you, dude.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, so that's just a good way of like involving different cultures and feels and stuff like that, especially. So obviously that takes like a little bit of a part. I mean, like anyone who follows you will see that too. Like it's definitely involved, maybe not directly, but it does definitely has like an input into styling and stuff like that and marketing. Yeah. Especially in your brand and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even the name says it all kind of too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but definitely when you see a lot of my stories, a lot of the stuff, it will be either rap music or dance music. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you know, I've always loved, you know, classic rock and 90s rock. rock nowadays fucking sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sucks. It sucks, dude. So, but then you have like great bands out there now. Like, like there's sort of like crossover bands, like an Odessa or something. You know, it's electronic music, but they're, you know, or Rufus the Soul, where they're, you know, they're actually like playing. They're not just DJing. You know, they're playing with keyboards and then they'll bring out guitarists and drums and the full thing. So it's rad. Music's changing, but yeah. So all my, you know, everything on my Instagram is basically the rap or dance music, and the Ghost Gun Chronicles obviously had to be, you know, rap, just crazy gutter rap music.
Yeah.
Because MEM and myself, he was sending me like just the wildest tracks, and I was sending him wild tracks, and then that's how the mixtape came about. Like we were just sending each other like links to like just the most crazy shit, and then we were like, "Yo, let's put something together." And we put together the fucking mixtape, and it was fire, dude. It flows so good. Like you've heard it.
Yeah.
It actually, I mean, there might be like maybe one transition that may be iffy, but like, dude, that shit flows so far. But yeah, so hopefully volume 2 coming up soon.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I enjoyed the first one too. It was fun. So looping back to the mags a little bit, because obviously we talked about a couple different intricacies of dealing with the mags, and like one thing that I can notice is obviously with anything else that's popular or relevant, you kind of have to run into people who are maybe looking at jumping into that same stream. Like they're trying to do or duplicate something that you're already doing that's, you know, popular. Cause I mean, that's normally how it works. So like, is that a struggle of something that you've like encountered, like you've dealt with, like people who are either trying to create a product that's like yours or, you know, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. And it's funny because I think you and I talked about this, and I talked about this with Kevin from Portside, in separate conversations, obviously, but we both hit on the exact same thing, and both of y'all had the exact same answer for me, and that you two both said that you think this is the year that we're going to see the copycat Ill Pros. Like after watching what I've done for the past 18 months, you guys both said that you feel that this year there's going to be somebody that's going to be trying to copy it. And that's what happens in any industry. People are going to see something
successful stuff. Yeah.
They just try to copy it. And my advice for anyone starting a brand, if you want to be successful, be original, put some time, think about it. Every single successful person in the world is hardworking, and not everybody, but most of them are very hardworking and very dedicated, and they came up with some great idea. And you know, I'm not saying fucking Cerakote Mags is the greatest idea that's ever come out,
but it's unique though. It's different.
There was nobody doing it in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, like again, we're talking about mags that generation 1 and 2 mags, so they've been around for a while. It's not like they just popped up last year. Yeah. And you were the first one to really put a stamp on something and move forward with it.
Be able to offer that in a high quantity fashion. So it was very unique. So there has been, there was at least one person that tried to do what I do. They did it, and they went on to sort of like talk shit about my version of it.
Yeah, tirades.
Which was the DNC straight PMAG. They copied it, and on like their website, they even went on to like talk shit about Cerakote and talk about how their magazines were lasered and not Cerakote, so it won't wear off. So they were like taking like low blows at me. But they didn't realize that magazine is actually Cerakoted to the exact DNC color, and then it's lasered. So they didn't get it right. You know, they were saying that it's Cerakoted and theirs were lasered, but mine were Cerakoted and lasered. So it was somebody that was like not only copying, but then they were going to like take shots at me. And shout out to all my followers, you're real ones, because I watched my follow. I didn't even like tell people to go after this person. Like people just naturally were like calling it the ill pro off wish.com. Like it was like savage, dude. Like y'all are the real ones. But like that is what you'll probably get. If you try to copy somebody's style, you'll probably get called out.
Yeah. Because there's just not as much heart into it, you know, time.
It's not. And, you know, I promise you, finding straight PMags and EMags in high quantities is not easy. And I'm just very good at it. If you want to, I mean, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. This is a free country. So if you want to copy the style, go for it. Like, I'm not going to personally come after you. Like I have better things to do. I'm moving forward. So my suggestion is anybody that's wanting to start up a brand and you're inspired by other brands, be inspired, but don't copy them. You know, like look at the people that you really like in the industry and let them inspire you into something new and unique, different. And don't copy them. Because it's just not going to get you the respect that you want.
And I don't feel like there's as much satisfaction into it. I don't know. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. That's
you can't feel good about yourself when you know that you built something that wasn't even yours.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, and to me, like a part of that is a part of like success itself is realizing or feeling the sense of satisfaction of building something that you knew that you really literally built. Like there's effort into it. So like when there's time and effort into something that's unique or different that no one else was doing before, or like something else hasn't had, like, you know, instilled into something, it means more. Like it does. Like there's no other way of putting it. It means more. Like, you know, there's more value to it. So, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, obviously that is a big portion of like, this is inspiring because like things are moving in the correct direction instead of like, you know, down spiraling, you know? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things, like there's nothing wrong with seeing something and being inspired to put your own twist or like, you know, new branding on stuff, but you know, trying to drag people down when you're maybe
to do an exact sort of replica and then talk shit. It's just duplicate, a little weird. I mean, at least do a different camo that I didn't do. Come on, bro. Like at least do that. At least do that. But yo, shout out to John. If you call John Weichel at Weichel Performance Coatings and you ask for 20 round straight PMags or EMags to get Cerakoted, he will tell you to kick rocks. So if you do want to copy me, I'm sure there's plenty of other Cerakote artists in the country. They'll be happy to work with you. But you know, that's
not John though.
Not John.
Dude, again, like John is the best, man.
And that's why I fuck with him, dude.
Yeah.
I like to fuck with great people who have good, you know, good business sense and are good people, man. Like,
and dude does just a fantastic job. Again, like I'm not just saying it just because I'm looking at Mags. Like he's done all of my Cerakote stuff. Fantastic. And like great turnaround. And like everything that comes back is just like perfect. It looks factory done. Yeah. Like it might as well be. I mean, it basically is factory done when it comes back from him. He just does a phenomenal job. And now that he's got his new, you know, location, new workplace, his stuff is even better because he's able to expand.
Dude, I'm so psyched for him on the new location. Yeah. The warm and fuzzy mags were actually the first thing done in the new location.
That's fucking dope.
So that was dope. Really rad. He did a lot of great behind the scenes photos and even did a video for us. You know, I didn't even ask him to do that. He just like made a video and snapped a bunch of photos, and that was rad. You know, those mags are sick, dude. And oh God, I wish I could make 1,000 of them for all the people that missed out. I really do. I'm so sorry that I can't make that many, but anybody who missed out, I really am. I wish you could have one there, you know.
That's the nature of the beast though. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, it's unfortunately, you know, it's a limited product.
Yeah. I just think I feel like I want people to know that like I wanted you to have it, you know, like I wanted people to have it, and it's you know, like
there's no way of you know,
it was only going to be 100 of them. The people were going to miss out, and I'm sorry. But don't worry, dude. Like I'm going to do awesome shit for years to come. There are going to be more mags that are going to be just as sick.
Yeah.
It's just a mag. There'll be another one next month and then the month after that. So don't worry if you missed out. There's going to be more. Also, like sort of expanding on what I'm doing with mags. There is a new rifle that I'm getting. I think it's coming this week. But with the Q. So it's the fixed rifle. You're familiar with that rifle.
Yeah.
It's a pretty unique bolt gun. Very cool gun. Very rad gun. But I'm going to need mags for that. So
there you go.
I guess I'm going to have to make a bunch of 10-round SR25 mags. So,
there you go. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. So like I would suggest you go buy a fix. I'm making them for the fix, but they are SR25 mags. So if you have a gas gun and you want to run them, go for it. But I'm making them for the fix.
Yeah.
You can put the mags in whatever gun you want to, but I suggest you buy a fix because it's sick.
Yeah, well, it kind of loops back to you making a product that revolves around what you want too. Yeah. So, and that's always like a nice way of entry. So obviously there you go. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like, again, it's an expendable item. It's a magazine, you know, it's something that you're continuously releasing and stuff like that. So it's like, I know it's like you said, unfortunately not everyone can get every single thing when you have something that is already rare before you Cerakote it. And then on top of that, you add a limited product that's already limited.
And it's grown faster than I thought it would.
Yeah.
And, thank you for everybody who follows me, likes or comments on anything with positive stuff. Thank you so much. It really makes my day. All the people that post some hate comments, I just screenshot it and laugh. So if you think you're getting at me, all you're doing is making me laugh. So it's funny. But really, thank you for anybody that's followed me and likes what I do. I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I do this, and it's rad to get so much great feedback on what it is. That being said, I'm going to try to work my best to make something where we're like the next drop is going to be limited of one per person. And I think I maybe have to move to that model. So we get the mags in more people's hands that want them.
And sometimes that's how you get to make sacrifices.
Yeah. And then, if it like the warm and fuzzy mag, I had never done 100 mags. I'm not going to go into the quantities of what we've done with mags, but that was the most we've done with the mag. But like, imagine getting 100 E-mags. Like that's
difficult.
That's an entire case. That's an entire case.
Because that was your fourth EMAG you had already done, so it's already difficult to source. I mean, Jesus.
And if I do come across high quantities and there's a great pattern to do, I'm going to try to do as much as I can so the people have it. I want people to get the product in their hand.
Yeah.
And not to just be like I can make money. I felt bad that people didn't get the mag. I have one, so that makes me feel bad. It's like I know I have one, but then there's so many people that were following it for we promoted it for a couple weeks, and the people were so excited about it and they missed out. And I'm very sorry, and I'm going to try my best to increase quantities when I can on certain mags, and if I can, I'm going to try to push as many as I can. But like I said, they're limited, so. Just depends on what quantities I have at the time or what I can acquire. But that being said, I may work into some other different magazines, still maybe staying in the rare realm.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna
ask. I don't think, I think I might do some regular GI mags. I've talked with a couple companies that make regular magazines that aren't Magpul. Obviously, everything I've done is Magpul except the Imperial Defense.
But, right.
There's a couple companies that I've talked to that do, just regular USGI magazines to maybe make a lower price point. Some people get very upset at the $100 magazine, so maybe find a readily available magazine and offer it a lower price point so people can still get IlPro. And then that way I can produce higher quantities for people that want those, that don't really care about the straight P mags or the E mags.
The rarity of the mag itself. Yeah.
And, one thing I'm into it. I think Vietnam's one of the fucking wildest wars ever. I'm a huge Vietnam dude. I actually bought the Vickers AR-15 Volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the book because obviously I want to learn way more about the firearm and the development of the AR-15. But that book has great section on the manufacturing of the 20-round magazines for the M16. You had, a few different companies that made them during that time. And, like some of them are better. There's a couple that are better.
Deviations, yeah.
So I really wanted to learn more about those Vietnam era mags because I've been searching for brand new Vietnam era mags. Like I've seen them in boxes, haven't been used before.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about maybe doing like a Vietnam era drop.
That'd be cool.
With some of those throwback mags. Still like all the magazines that I sell brand new, but doing them in Vietnam patterns be like M81 and obviously Tiger Stripe.
Yeah.
But I think that would be rad to do like a Vietnam era
series type of
do a magazine and then use the camo that was for
relevant in the time period. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, you kind of touched on before I could even say it, but like, so obviously, going into that, obviously, planning so far ahead. So it was like, are there certain like collaborations or any kind of type of pattern that you are, obviously you just mentioned the Vietnam, but are there certain ones that you just want to hit without revealing too much of what you're planning on?
So I have something in the works with the Q. There's a pattern we've talked about that I know that's going to happen. And then a pattern that's in the works. I can't really speak on that pattern. I haven't even seen the pattern.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So it could be very cool. I expect it to be very cool. So I have some things with them in the works. Very excited about that. Because I think they're doing some cool shit. Their guns are rad, dude. The Fix, the Honey Badger, very cool guns. I know a lot of people really love like the military like clone shit, and they only want to buy some guns that dudes who operate fucking use or whatever. But the Fix is really cool. It's a great hunting rifle, the utility rifle, and the Honey Badger is an excellent hunting rifle for under 100 yards. Subsonic ammo with a 1.5 twist. That's lethal. That's a lot of energy. With a subsonic round, and the gun's super light. So really rad to do something with those guys. I'm excited about that. And those camo patterns. And then coming up to, like obviously we've done all these camos. I would say I do the Instagram stories where I ask people, what camos should I do? Mm-hmm. And I get all the responses. And it's fun, but I already know what we're going to do. Yeah,
I was going to say, like, does that like really pay a portion of what you're thinking? Or
no, I already know all the camos that are out there. Trust me, I know all the camos that are out there. I probably know camos that you've never heard of before. So, obviously we're going to get some Tiger Stripe out there. Everybody wants Tiger. We're going to do some Desert Tiger, some Flecktarn. Obviously the German Flecktarn is really hot.
Yeah, it is. That being said, so we talked about just kind of like future projects and stuff like that, and then we'll kind of start wrapping it up. But like, so obviously, do you have a favorite pattern though? Is there something that just really you're just like, I just fucking love it. Like no matter what time, no matter when, I just always come back to this because I just love this pattern.
M81.
M81?
Yeah, I mean, OG. I'm an Appalachian boy. Plus my hunting rifle is Cerakoted in M81. Yeah. So
what's your hunting rifle?
300 Blackout.
Yeah. Well, what gun is it? Like what rifle?
I built it. It's using like Daniel Defense rail and barrel and
it's a gas gun.
Yeah, gas gun. But yeah, it's I think I use a 10.3 barrel and Daniel Defense M4 rail. It's still like the quad rail. It's nice, man. Cause I hunt in the woods, and I'm sitting at a tree stand at about 30 feet. So my longest shot would be 100 yards at the most. I usually harvest at about like 50 to 70 yards is usually where my shots are taken. So that's where I hunt 300 Blackout.
Yeah. So like so we just trying again, just wrapping up and stuff like that. Talk about future projects and anything like that. Anything else you're excited about working on, or anything you're looking forward to, project wise, with Illicit Provisions?
Yeah. So good friend of mine, designated hitter. People have been known about his stuff, his designs, the AK design, the Nokohama design, a couple others. And, he's been real busy with his family, and he's, he just built his, new forever home with his family. So congratulations on that. I'm so happy to see him, doing that, but he's been so busy with that and work, that he hasn't been able to really put out this stuff. And we became good friends, and we both are huge Braves fans. And with what I've done with Illicit Provisions, he wanted to offer that stuff through Illicit Provisions. We have stuff with Designated Hitter as the Designated Hitter collection.
Yeah, the tab
from Illicit Provisions. So it'll be a collection, still with Designated Hitter's name. And so we have some stuff coming up in March. We have a huge drop right before April for opening day of baseball. So there's a lot of stuff. There'll be AK mags, AK-47 AK mags. So the AK design on some AK-47 mags. I've never done AK-47 mags. We got some shirts. We got some stickers and a bunch of that. So we got that going. I have collab going with the Rendezvous Intelligentsia. Try. They've been dropping some cool new stuff, and we got I can't really say what we're doing.
Sure, no, absolutely.
Got something cool coming up with them. Obviously we touched on the Q collab. More stuff with Warm and Fuzzy coming soon. And
busy man.
And also there's a Kilo collab that we're in the works. We're we're working on the mock-ups now, and so it's an apparel collab, so that'll be cool. And then am I missing any other collabs? Are we doing a collab?
Always can.
God, we haven't even talked.
We'll figure something out.
We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
But I can pencil you in.
Thank you, please. Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a fun day. Like we obviously people don't know, but like we, obviously you came down, did a little shooting in the morning, went and grabbed some food a little bit later afternoon. We were actually out there for a while, but yeah, it was like a full day, dude. It was fun, just doing some stuff. And like, we did some like drills and some shooting, like some actual stuff that's like more like focus based on like actual, work, things that are relevant to shooting and stuff like just stand still stuff. So it was fun. It was enjoyable. And like, I think that's a big aspect of shooting itself, but then also not making it to where, again, like we were saying before, like enveloping that as your personality and stuff. Cause like that's what you see all the time. So it was fun, like, get out, do some shooting, hang out, have a beer, grab some food, and there we go. Wrap it up with a podcast.
Yeah, it was a good time, dude.
Yeah, man. It's good.
I enjoyed the day, man. Yeah, shooting was fun. Beers are great.
How'd you like the sour beer?
It was all right, but I like the jalapeno more. I like the spicy. I'm a spicy boy.
Spicy boy? Spicy boy? Awesome.
I mean, really, dude, I'm a Bud heavy. I'm a grown man. I drink Bud heavy.
Jesus Christ. Jesus. But it's been but dude, again, this has been so much fun. For those of you who somehow don't know about him already, where can they find you at? Where can they see what the products and stuff you've released at? Instagram, obviously, at Illicit Provisions, or is there anything specific, like you have to do any underscores or anything like that?
No underscores. I actually have the full handle. That was the handle that got zucked.
No shit.
And then I came up with Il Pro Redux. And then I was just like, out of shits and giggles, I was like, I wonder if they like re-threw that back in the system. And guess what?
You go.
They gave it back out,
baby.
Instagram, you dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah, so
don't ever zuck somebody and then give them back their name, because we'll come back and grab it. But yeah, at Illicit Provisions, and then illicitprovisions.com, same, all one word. Yeah, you can go on there and sign up for the newsletter to get all the information. Best place to get information straight from the source before it goes on Instagram, because Instagram is hit and miss. You don't know if you're getting shadow banned, or you just miss it one day. You're busy with the family, you miss the post. You never know.
Algorithm
but the email will come through, and I promise you I will not blast you with emails. You'll just get information that's important.
Vital. Yeah. There you go.
And then, that's the only, no other social medias. Yeah, it was great. Thank you for having me, man.
Dude, man, it's just been a blast. And again, I mean, I didn't really get to really go and reiterate, but like the mags, like every one of them are in front of me. And honestly, dude, they're all just fantastic. I mean, and I'll be straight up honest. Like I've never actually even purchased one. Like I've just like, it's one of those things that's just been like, I'll try, and if I can, I can, and if I can't, it's fine. And sometimes, but dude, I'm kind of fucking upset.
We're gonna get you one.
I know. I need to fucking buy one. I'm kind of like, it's like one of those things. Like until you see in front of you, you're like, damn, I knew they were nice, but like now I kind of wish, like now that I don't have one and I see them, it's like, damn, I fucking wish I had bought one. But yeah, dude, honestly, it looks like the real shit. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thanks, man.
But yeah, thank you again, man, for spending your time on with me and again for the podcast.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.